everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I'm playing Arkham Horror the card game and I am starting a new campaign. This one is called the Dunwich Legacy. Over in the UK they call it Dunwich, but here in the US most people call it Dunwich. The W is pronounced, so I'm going to call it Dunwich Legacy. If that hurts your ears, I do apologize. Today I am going to be starting this campaign, so I'm going to spend a few minutes reading the background and things like that to you. Just so you know, I am going to be playing Roland Banks, the Fed, and Rex Murphy, the Reporter. I've got the Fed teaming up with the Reporter. When I play solo, I tend to prefer a Seeker and a Protector, just to get through the game. I do like some of the other classes like Survivor and stuff, or the Mystic, but when I'm playing solo, I've found that this is probably my best way to survive. So let me read this to you. It's called The Dunwich Legacy. It's based on the H.P. Lovecraft story, The Dunwich Horror. If you have not read that book and you intend to, this is probably going to give you some spoilers because it runs very parallel to that story. You do not have to have read that story in order to enjoy this scenario. So here's the prologue. Dr. Henry Armitage pours himself a glass of Pinot and sits down at his desk, gesturing for you to sit across from him. I apologize for the short notice, he begins. His face is pale, his forehead sweaty and wrinkled with worry. Armitage, the head librarian of Miskatonic University and a former mentor of yours, privately contacted you in the hopes of gaining your assistance. Eager to help, you have made your way to his home in Southside. Upon entering, you were surprised to find his home in disarray. Books and notes litter his desk, and an empty bottle of wine has tipped over onto the ground by the fireplace. You'd always known Armitage to be neat and well organized. The elderly man takes a moment to collect his thoughts. I am looking for two of my colleagues, Dr. Francis Morgan, Professor of Archaeology, and Warren Rice, Professor of Languages. Warren was supposed to meet with me over supper earlier today to discuss several important findings, but he has since gone missing. At first I thought nothing of it, but I have a nagging feeling something else is going on, a very familiar feeling. You've never seen Armitage quite this worried before. His hands tremble as he reaches for the glass on his desk, and he sips from it nervously. I tried to find Francis, hoping he knew where Warren was, but he too is out of touch. Francis has been spending a lot of time in some gambling dens, or so I am told. I sent for you because I am worried Warren might be in trouble. I would appreciate it if you could find him for me. You may also wish to ask Francis for help if you can find him. All right, so I have a choice. I can go look for Professor Warren, possibly at the library, working late, or I can go directly and look for Francis Morgan, who was last seen gambling at the Clover Club. I've played this both ways, and honestly, I can't remember. It's good. I can't remember which is which, or which one. I don't think there's a one over the other you should choose first. So I'm going to choose the first one because I've already set it up. I'm going to go looking for Professor Warren, who was last seen working late at night in the Humanities Department at Miskatonic University. So I have gone ahead and set up that one, and it's called Extracurricular Activity. Dr. Armitage is worried his colleague, Professor Warren Rice, might be in trouble, so he has asked for your help in finding his friend. He seems unreasonably nervous about his colleague's disappearance, considering Professor Rice has only been missing for a matter of hours. All right, I have set it up. I am on campus, and it tells me each player begins at Miskatonic Quad. All right, so I have placed my two cards representing my investigators on the Miskatonic Quad. What's really interesting about the quad is it can be used to reach all the other locations. It branches out to all 5 of the other ones. However, I cannot get to the administration building. I can only get there from here. These 3 can only be reached from the quad, and this one only from here. So, got to keep that in mind when I am moving around. I've gone ahead and I've shuffled the encounter deck, but I'll go ahead and do it again for you. I have shuffled my player decks, but I'll do that for you. And I've got to draw their cards and get their starting resources, and we will get going. Now, before we do, this is the agenda, and this is the act. The agenda is the one you don't want advancing. The act is the one you do want advancing. Let me read these to you. Agenda 1A, Quiet Halls. You have arrived at the Miskatonic University campus in search of Professor Warren Rice. Classes are over, and a mysterious silence hangs in the air over the quad. This one will take 7 Doom tokens to advance. I don't want this advancing too fast. It will advance naturally, but not too fast, hopefully. Act 1, After Hours. Professor Rice was last seen several hours ago by one of Armitage's students in the Humanities building, which is over here, and I can get there directly from the Miskatonic building. So let's, and by the way, to advance this one takes 3 clues per investigator, so 6 in all. Let's go ahead and shuffle their decks and draw. I do get a mulligan. If I draw a weakness, I get to shuffle that back in, which I will do. So Roland is going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do I got? I have an insight. I have his weakness. Well, that will get shuffled back in. And I do have some pretty good cards here. But you know what? I was hoping for a weapon card. So I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. And I'm going to keep this one. So I'm shuffling. First what I do is I count the 4 and then I draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these get shuffled back in. And evidence, beat cop, good. This was a good hand. Got a very good opening hand. And then I will shuffle this deck to get that weakness tucked back in there. And both of my investigators started with a basic weakness. I did draw a basic for Rex, but I started with Roland's standard. He has one that's specific to his character that I put in here. Let's draw Rex's deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, good, good. Ooh, a weapon. Very good. And very good. Okay, I've got 2 high-cost cards here. Milan and Connect the Dots. After you play the last code, you discover 2's at a lower print stride, then you're okay. That's a good card. I really like that one. These are all good. I'm gonna shuffle in Christopher and take a top one. And I got medical text, which is decent enough. I will shuffle this back in, and we will get started. All right, so my boys are at the quad. It's late night, and I need to go find Professor Warren. And he was last seen directly in the Humanities building. It's been a while since I've played this, so I don't remember all the secrets, but I'm trying to remember. I'm just going to go, well, first off, I need to reveal the Miskatonic quad. Sometimes there's clues on it. There are not. Okay. It says, resign. We can't find Rice anywhere. You leave the campus hoping Armitage will forgive you. So, hopefully we can find Professor Warren before my time runs out. And let's go directly. I'm gonna have the Fed scout first. He's got weapons. You know what? They all get 5 resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So, let's do Roland. Roland is going to get moving. Now, he does have a beat cop for an ally, which is great to have. Let's go ahead and move him for 1 action. Everybody gets 3 actions. So I've got 1. And I track those, by the way. It's kind of out of camera, but I track those down here. And I have a tracker for that. So that will reveal the Humanities building. We'll flip it over. And it says, forced. At the end of your turn, if you are in the Humanities building, discard the top X cards of your deck, where X is the amount of horror on you. Well, right now I have 0 horror, so that's not too bad. It has a Shroud of 3. This is your number that you have to investigate against, and it's got 4 clues. 2 per investigator is the symbol. So the key to this game is moving forward is get clues. So Roland is there. And I have evidence. Defeat an enemy, discover a clue. Well, that's not going to help me. Magnifying glass, that's helpful. And the flashlight is helpful because the flashlight will lower the shroud to 1. Your location gets -2 shroud for this investigation. Okay. Now, it's got a 3, and his investigate is 3. So I'm going to pay 2 to play flashlight. It gets 3 uses on it. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to track those with these little orange counters. That was his second action, was to play that card. And then for my third and final action, I'm going to do an investigate. I'm going to spin this. The shroud goes down to 1. And his investigate is 3. So I will draw from the bag. 3 versus 1. And I got -1, so I am successful, and I have a clue, and that is good. He is done, so I'll flip his card over. And let's get Rex. Now, we know that he was last seen at the Humanities Building. And there's only 4 clues there, so I can't advance that. So maybe I need to look around. I like to keep my guys together, so I'm going to do that. Rex is going to move for 1 action. He is going to investigate. And let's see, what do I have? Play only to choose an investigator move. Okay, 45. He's got a weapon, which is going to play after you discuss. So I can't really, none of these cards are really going to be helpful to me right now. So I think I will go ahead and investigate twice. Now, Rex's investigate is 4. 4 versus 3. The flashlight does not help, so it's only for that 1 investigation. So 4 versus 3, and I really don't have anything I want to commit at this point to help him. I don't want to give up any of my cards, so I'll just do a 4 versus 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. I found a clue. And for his third and final action, I'll do it again. 4 versus 3. Ooh, the skull. What is the skull? The skull is -1. If you fail, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Well, I didn't fail, so I did get another clue. And this goes back in the bag. And that is the end of Rex's turn. So the way this game works is it's broken into phases. I skipped the Mythos phase, which is the first phase, because when a game begins, you don't do the first Mythos. It goes Investigator, then it goes Enemy, then it goes Upkeep, then it goes back to Mythos. So right now we are in the Enemy phase. There are no enemies out. So we immediately go to Upkeep, which is where I flip these cards over. They each get a resource, and they get to draw a card. Rex draws Disc of Itzamna. It's an amulet. When a non-elite enemy spawns at your location, discard the card, automatically evade, or deal it 2 damage. All right, that's not a bad card to have. And then Roland gets 1-2 punch. You may get one. You get 1 +1 for the fight. If you succeed, you can fight again at +2 and deal +1 damage. That's a great card to have. All right, after that is the Mythos phase. The Mythos phase, we place a Doom token on the agenda. There is 1 out of 7. And then both of my investigators draw a encounter card based on the order. So Roland went first, so he draws. And he gets a Wizard of Yog-Sothoth. Horrible card to get. It's Prey. Least cards in hand. It is a hunter. So it will always attack. But first off, when it appears, it will engage. And the least cards is Roland. Yeah, 5 versus 6. So he will engage with Roland, which is fine. Roland does not have a weapon out, which is unfortunate. It says, when the engaged investigator draws a hexed or pact card, wizard attacks him. So there are some cards in here that have the word hex or pact on them, and those can be bad. He's got 4 strength and 3 health. So not too bad. I can deal with it. And he's got a victory point, so if I defeat him, it's removed from the game, and I'll get an XP point at the end to spend on new cards. All right, that is the end of the Mythos phase. It is now my turn. Now, there's only 1 clue left, and Rex has this really interesting card that he can play called Shortcut. It's fast. It says, choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator to a connecting location. So what I can do is if Rex wants to go first, I can go ahead and fast play this. I can make him maybe go to the... Well, the only place he can go is Miskatonic Quad, which is really a waste of a move because there's nothing I can do here. I'd rather move him to the Orn Library and reveal it. So I'm going to have Rex go first this time. He's going to play Shortcut. It costs 0, and it's a fast play card. And it says, choose an investigator at your location and move him to a connecting. So he will go up to the Orn Library. I will reveal it. It has 2 clues, 1 per investigator, a Shroud of 3, and it says you must spend 1 additional action to investigate here. Now, it does have a victory point. If all the clues are removed, I get that victory point. So that's not bad. And remember, he has a flashlight. Now, it's not his turn. He'll get on his turn. So it's Rex's turn. For my first action, I need to get that final clue. And I don't want to waste anything here. So I'm going to play Unexpected Courage, which gives me 2 wild, a +2 to a skill. It's wild, so I can use it. So his Investigate is now 6 versus 3. Pretty good odds, but there is an auto-fail token in here. 6 versus 3. 6 minus 2 is 4, and I do get the last clue. Now, what's interesting, I have Connect the Dots. Let me read this to you. It costs 4. It's a fast card. Play after you discover the last clue at your location, which I just did. It says discover 2 clues at a location with a lower printed shroud value than yours. Well, it's not lower, it's 3, so I can't play this. I need to find I'll play this when I get a shroud of maybe 2 or 1. That's a bummer because I could have played this, but I didn't realize it was a matching. Okay, so his first action was he investigated. I've got 2 more actions. I'll go ahead and move, which is his second action. And now for my third action, I will do an investigate. It is 4 versus 3. I don't have any way of lowering that shroud. Actually, I could play this and get 6, but this is such a great card because it basically saves you having to travel to a revealed location to get 2 clues. But it does cost 4, and I have a weapon which I really want to get out. I'm gonna spin this against my better. I need a weapon. I'd rather have the weapon. I can get these 2 by I can get at least 1 by lowering the shroud. So it becomes 4 plus 2 is 6 versus 3. 6 minus 2 is 4, and I do get a clue, and he is done. So now it is Roland's turn. Roland needs that clue because that will give me 6 clues in all that I can use to move the act forward. So let's see, what can I do? I've got Magnifying Glass, which gives me +1 Investigate, and I've also got the Flashlight, which will lower that to 1. I'd rather get out my Beat Cop ally for one of my actions, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to use the Flashlight to lower it to -2, so this is 1. His Investigate is 3, so I'm doing 3 minus 1. Do I want to add anything to help that boost that? Either place a clue on your location or discover 1 clue at your location. Oh, I can play this to... You know what? I could play this card and get that clue automatically. Fast. Play only during your turn. Either place a clue on your location or discover 1 clue, remove it from the game. From the game. I wonder if that means permanently, like... or from just this scenario. I have to look that up. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. That way I don't have to spend a Flashlight. I'll go ahead and spend Mysteries Remain. It lets me pick up a clue for free. It is a fast, so it doesn't cost an action. This is good. All right, so he gets the clue. I now have 6 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got all 6 here. All right, I will turn those in, and we'll forward the act. So you flip it over and you read the back of the card. You were unable to find Professor Rice, but one of the students you spoke with mentions a strange man entering Rice's office. Unfortunately, the door leading to the faculty offices is locked at this late hour. Faculty offices, where is that? I don't see them. Okay. The student says that the head janitor, Jazz, might be able to let you in if you can find him. Shuffle the encounter discard pile. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I am such a dummy. I'm engaged. So I do have 2. So what I'll do is before I'll retro and fight him. Shuffle the encounter deck pile and then set aside Jazz into the encounter deck. All right, so we'll hold off. I've got to fight this guy first. So on my first action, rather than play this card, which I'll do in a moment, I need to fight him. So I will fight him. I'll play 1-2 punch. And it costs 2. And it gives me +1 fight for this attack. His fight is normally 4, so now it's 6. 6 versus 4. And I'm going to play a card to help me. Well, I can't there. Let's see. Now, any investigator at your location can contribute a card to help. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of medical text. That bumps it up 1. So now I'm at 7 versus 3. So The auto fail is really the only one I don't want to deal with. 7 minus 2 is 5. So I managed to put a damage on him, the wizard. And because I played 1-2 punch, it says if you succeed, you may attack again. You get +2 fight and deal +1 damage. He's got 3 health. So if this wins, if I am successful here, I will defeat him. I'm at 4 plus 2 is 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. No auto fail. I got the shroud. What is that? That's -1, and it's -3 if there are 10 or more cards in your discard pile. There's only 1, so I do defeat him. He goes in the victory display, and that was that was a great card. So now that he's defeated him, then I'll play excuse me, this to get that 6th clue. Then I did this, I reveal this, and now it says shuffle jazz. He's got one more action, by the way. I shuffle jazz. Where's jazz? A lot of times it tells you to set cards aside. Here it is, jazz. I will take this and shuffle it into here. I do not shuffle wizard back in because, you know what I didn't do? I did not draw an encounter card for Rex on the last one, so I'll draw 2 this time. Get so caught up sometimes in the fun of playing the game, you just make mistakes. All right, he'll get 2 on his next turn. Because there should have been 1, or he should have been engaged with something, or there should have been 1 card in the discard. All right, he's got 1 more action. I can move, or I can get out an ally, which I really want to do. I'm going to get out his, well, I can't, because I've only got 2 resources. So let's get out the magnifying glass for 1. Actually, you know what? No. I really need to get this beat cop. So normally I do not like to get a resource. One of the actions you can take, so I fought him. I played that card. Actually, no, hold on. Playing this card is a fast action, so I've still got 2 actions left. So for one of my actions, I'm going to get a resource. I need it because I need 4 to get my ally out. And then for my third and final action, what can I do? I will move. We need to find Jazz. So Jazz is in here. Oh man, that means you gotta. Is that right? Does it say shuffle him? Shuffle the encounter and the set into the. So I gotta find him in here. Oh, that's gonna be hard. There's a lot of cards here. All right, so I need to be moving around. That's not good. All right. For my third and final action, I will move here, and I am done. All right. So now we go to the enemy phase. There are no enemies out right now, so we go to upkeep. I flip these over. Everybody gets 1 resource. Now Roland has 4, which he can use to buy his ally. And we draw a card. Rex draws, he got his weakness. Discard all your resources. He's got 7. All right, and Roland draws Alice Luxley, an ally. And I'll keep that. Okay. And now it is the Doom, or the Mythos phase. We put a Doom token. So it's got 2 out of 7. And they draw a card. Now, Rex went first, so I'll have him draw his 2 because I only drew 1 the last turn. So his first card is Eager for Death. Test 2 will. Increase this skill's difficulty by 1 for each damage on you. If you fail, take 2 horror. He has no damage on him. So 2 will. His will is 3. And I'll play... I hate to waste that card. It's such a good card. 3 versus... 2. That's not good odds, but I don't really have a choice. 3 versus 2. 3-0. All right, so he passes it. All right. His second card is Ancient Evils. Place a Doom on the current agenda. So we now have 3 Doom on the agenda. And then finally Roland draws, and he gets Terror from Beyond. It is a Hex/Terror, but remember, we defeated the wizard, so that doesn't matter. Revelation. Choose one of the following card types: asset, event, or skill. Each player must discard each card in his hand that is of the chosen type. If this is not the first copy of Terror from Beyond, choose 2 card types instead. If this is not the first copy, this is the first copy. Ooh, okay, so basically what you do here is you look at your cards, and it's asset, event, or skill. Asset, asset. And now if you choose something that's not in any of the hands, that's fine. Asset, asset, event, asset. So I'll choose a skill card, and neither one of them have a skill. Each player must discard each in his hand that is of the chosen card type. Boom, done. All right, that was just pure luck. When you have 4 players, you're gonna get rid of cards. Okay, it is now my turn, and I get a victory point. I'm gonna turn this sideways to remind myself I got a victory point for getting all the clues off of it. Let's have Roland move to the... Let's go to the student union. We'll go here. So that's 1 action. And this reveals this card. It has 2 clues on it. Oh, and by the way, let me read you the new act. It says, concern for Professor Rice's safety, you seek out the head janitor who can let you into the locked section. As an action, you can spend a clue to discard the top 5 cards of this deck. Top 10 if there is a 1-player game. Okay. If you discard Jazz, resolve him. When you take control of Jazz, advance. Okay, so I got to find him and then advance. So I can spend a clue. So I don't have any clues right now, so I need to get clues so I can start hunting through this deck. Now it's a Shroud of 1. That's awesome. So 2 actions. I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna use a flashlight because you can only lower it to 0. 3 versus 1. 3 minus 2 is 1, and I have a clue, and that was my second action. Now, as an action, I can discard the top 5 cards. Let's do it, because I need to find Jazz fast. So I'm going to discard this, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No Jazz. All right, no Jazz. And that was my third and final action. So he is still in the Orin Library. So that is the end of Roland's turn. I'm going to leave Roland here because that 1 clue he can get on his own. I'm going to move him. Rex is going to go 1, 2, spending 2 actions to reveal this. This has 2 clues on it. It says 1 per investigator, and it says forced. After science building is revealed, put the set-aside alchemy labs into play. Okay, where is that? Alchemy labs. That's another location. It can be reached from the science hall, so I'll put that above it here. Okay, forced. When you fail a will test in the science building, take a damage. The door leading to the alchemy lab is locked. You cannot move here. Okay. All right, good to know. So he moved, he revealed. Let's investigate. It's a Shroud of 2. His investigate is 4. And I really don't have any cards to do anything. And he's lost all his resources in that last draw. So 4 versus 2. And I got the skull, which is -1. So I do get a clue. And his turn is over. And that is the end of the investigator phase.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.